So, it is the 25th anniversary of the Phantom Menace. And we're just going to get into this. We're not going to do a non spoiler because it's 25 years old. If you've not seen the Phantom Menace before and you didn't go this weekend to see it in the theater, you can just go watch it on Disney Plus. But it's been spoiled a million times. So, so I'm
If you just want to recap, somebody yells no, and then a couple of the Wilhelm clan dies, and then and then there's lightsabers. So that's basically it.
no,
There's
the
your movie
no
right
comes
there.
at the end of the trilogy. So,
No, there's always a no. There's a couple of no's. There's always one in each
there's
movie.
always somebody who says I've got a bad feeling
No,
about
there was
this.
a no in this one. There was definitely a no in this one. Towards the
Hmm.
end, Don knows which one I'm talking about.
Oh, okay. Um,
Like I said, there's a no, a Wilhelm dies, and there's lightsabers. There you go. Star Wars.
so so let's start off. I'm kind of curious uh, what your experience with this movie was, if you can remember when it first came out, and and then you rewatched it, and what are you thinking? What are some of your thoughts now? Like, did it hold up? So,
Let me mention something that I talked to Don about, but while you were having technical difficulties,
yeah.
is I remember going to a movie, and I don't remember the movie, which is hilarious. I don't remember the movie, but I remember them doing the Phantom Menace. Was it uh, review the trailer
Yeah.
right before, and I remember everybody in the audience cheering. Right, and it was
Okay.
that one where they were in the mists, and you see the Gungans start to walk out of the mists.
Yeah.
That it was that scene. I forget what other scenes. I just remember that, and everybody starting to cheer for a trailer, which I don't remember. I don't think I've been to a movie theater where I've seen anybody cheer a trailer in decades, but that was definitely one time I remember it.
Oh,
So I was really excited when it came out myself because it was
yeah.
Star Wars.
Okay.
So I mean that was my and then it came out, and of course I went to see it with, I don't know. Let's see, this was 1999, right?
Right.
So where was I in 1999?
Were you
I don't
were you
remember.
married in 1999?
Yeah. That might have been towards the end of my divorce. I think I might have gone and seen that one myself.
Ah.
So that my first divorce. Anyway, yeah. So, but I mean, that's what I remember about it. Don?
I remember reading the Entertainment Weekly while I was serving an in school suspension way back in 1999, as this movie came out about a month before I graduated. And certainly, as Drew was saying in the chat here, he saw it 10 times in theaters. I had a very similar experience where I had seen it multiple times. I was that enthralled with the movie. Um, as far as the original trilogy, I was lucky enough to be 2 years old, and my grandma was foolish enough to take me to the theater to see Return of the Jedi, again, which we were promptly kicked out. But I was the sort of kid that watched these over and over and over again because, again, that same grandmother made sure that she pirated these from the bookseller video rental place. And so I always
Yeah.
had Star Wars, followed by Rocky Four, as well as some other choice movies, Iron Eagle. Uh, but nonetheless, I watched them over and over and over again. So I was just very, very excited when this movie came out. I went back to the theaters as they re-released all three of the original trilogy with the updated CGI or whatever you want to call that, one special effects.
Oh yeah.
And I was completely mystified. Uh, I can just, because obviously being a fan of the original trilogy, the lightsaber fights that we see are pretty pedestrian when you pair them up with what we see in the first 10 minutes of this movie. So from the jump, I've always loved this movie, from again being a near graduate of high school back when I saw it, to me taking the whole entire family to see it this past Friday. I love it.
Set the
I've always
lightsaber
loved
thing
it.
as set the lightsaber thing aside. The lightsaber fights aside for a second. We want to talk about that after Dave gives his.
So, my relationship with Star Wars is kind of a little long and complicated, not complicated, but um, I was thinking about this today. So in seventh and eighth grade, uh, my like my uh, next oldest, I'm the youngest, so my next older brother was in high school, and my sister had moved out at that point. She moved out when she was like 18, and then my oldest brother was out of college and he had a full-time job. So I was as a lot of kids from the 80s, I was a latchkey kid, and so I would get home from school and you know, whatever I had to do, I did. But then I had a video cassette that had all three of the original movies. I'm for sure I told this story in the podcast, but it was all three of the original movies on one cassette. A friend of my dad's had taped them off of HBO for him, and
Wow.
I did not have a lot of friends in grade school. So from the time I got home till one of my parents came home or whatever, every day I would just watch that tape. Once I got to the end of Return of the Jedi, I rewound it and then I started all over again. For pretty much 2 years, I used to do that, and um, that's why no one ever wants to play me in Star Wars Trivia Pursuit.
Oh
and then
yeah.
and then so like it's weird to say, but like that was a substitute for friends in a lot of ways. That and comic books. Now you understand this show. Um, and then and of course I played Shadows of the Empire. I probably played through it 4 times. Like right after I got bought the game, and then so so with all that, when they announced new Star Wars, and yeah, of course everyone saw the special editions, and when they announced new Star Wars, I'm like, oh my god, I got to go see it. And it's funny because for a long time the prequels have gotten hate, again, toxic fandom, and I just came out thinking I saw some of the coolest stuff that I've always wanted out of Star Wars in this movie, and I finally got it. And people are crapping on it because they don't like one character in the movie. It's like, really? So, so yeah, like that was my initial experience with it, and I'll say rewatching it for the podcast, I'm like, no, I think this holds up pretty well. Yeah, I mean, there's a couple little flaws. I'll get to that in a minute, but yeah, like it's still a good movie in my opinion. Thanks for watching this clip from the Superhero Speak podcast. And don't forget to watch us live every Sunday night right here on this channel.
While you're here, hit the subscribe button and click the bell for notifications so you won't miss out on any of our great upcoming content.
Speaking of content, don't forget to check out our website, superheroespeak.com, where you can find the podcast, links to our social media, merch, comic reviews, and so much more. That's superheroespeak.com.
Thanks for watching, and don't let your cape be caught in the door. See you next time.